Hello, welcome to the United Community Channel. That was good last night, wasn't it? Manchester United winning 3-0 away to Athletic Bilbao. We're going to talk all about it, guys. We've got a lot of talking points to get into. And a very, very positive night for Manchester United. And we haven't been able to say that an awful lot this season. We're going to talk about Casemiro. We're going to talk about Harry Maguire. We're going to talk about Bruno Fernandes and plenty more. Please do smash a like on the video, guys. Hit that subscribe button if you're new. Let's jump right into it. So Manchester United have one foot in the final, really, don't they? I mean, we asked for a nice, comfortable night. Nobody thought we were going to get it, in fairness. We were all expecting a very difficult evening away to it has to be said, a pretty good side, both defensively and offensively in Athletic Bilbao. But, I mean, I've got to give an awful lot of credit to this Manchester United side. We've criticised them an awful lot this season, and I thought they managed the game really well, first and foremost. Going away to Athletic Bilbao in their home stadium, them knowing that if they get to the final, it's going to be in their home ground as well. And the crowd was absolutely phenomenal. The home crowd, they had the ticker tape, the banners all up, and it really was a cauldron when it comes to atmosphere. And I thought United in the first 15-20 minutes, I thought they looked a little bit cagey and a little bit rattled by the atmosphere. Our passing was very sloppy, trying to play out from the back. There was massive spaces in midfield on a number of different occasions, and we were making the game really difficult for ourselves. But the one thing I would go back on, and the positives that I would take, even out of that maybe disappointing opening 20 minutes or so, was that we defended relatively well. We kept our shape well defensively. We were resolute. We forced them wide a little bit. And they only really had one main chance, and that was the header from Williams. And he should have really scored, in fairness. He had a free header on the 6-yard box. But Manchester United defensively, I thought, were good. And all of a sudden, after 30 minutes, Harry Maguire finds himself on the right wing. David Maguire on that right wing, and he jinks and turns and goes back again. And you think maybe the opportunity to get a ball into the box is lost. But he finds a brilliant cross, and he just puts it into a danger area. And I've got to give credit as well to Manuel Ugarte, one of the smallest players on the pitch, gets up in front of everybody and just heads it into that danger zone. He's probably trying to head it on target, but if you don't get it on target, make sure you're putting it into an area where somebody else may be, and that's exactly what he done. And the old head of Casemiro, the old European experience was there, and he was there at the back post and nodded in, and it was probably a little bit against the run of play, it's got to be said. And, we absolutely would take it. And all of a sudden, Manchester United settle into the game. The crowd are maybe quieting down a little bit. And 7 minutes later, another really good ball into the box, this time by Mazraoui. And, I mean, I think it's an absolute stonewall penalty. I said it live last night, when it happened, that I thought it was a penalty. I was surprised with the red card, I've got to say. But, we said last night that Rasmus Højlund was taken down for that penalty. A penalty was given against him against Man City last season, where he barely touched Rodri. And I didn't think that was a penalty. I thought he went down very easily. However, this was different. I think Rasmus Højlund would have got to that ball if the hand wasn't on his shoulder. So I do think it was a stonewall penalty. It took a long time to come to that conclusion. And again, I think a lot of that was probably down to the fact that a red card was given. But all of a sudden, Bruno Fernandes is stepping up to make it 2-0, and they're down to 10 men. And, I mean, the coolest man in all of Bilbao last night to slot that away, and would you expect anything less from him? Absolutely fantastic. So United, at that stage, are thinking, right, we can go in at half time here now, 2-0. We've got 45 minutes against 10 men. Then all of a sudden, the ball is played up through the middle, and Manuel Ugarte with a lovely little kind of blind flick. Bruno Fernandes carries his run on. He's involved in the build-up play and just carries his run on. He's absolutely onside. And when you put Bruno Fernandes in one-on-one like that, there's only one outcome, and he slots it home. 3-0 to Manchester United. And you're saying then instantly one leg into the final. And, the second half, we were asking for a boring, non-eventful second half, and that's exactly what we got. And I think a lot of credit has to be given to United for game management, like we mentioned earlier. They managed the game really well, and we just saw it out. Kept possession, went back, went sideways. Athletic Bilbao I was surprised a little bit. Now, again, they're trying to, implement a bit of damage limitation, and they went 4-4-1, but it meant that our three at the back had only one real player pressing them when we were in possession, and we could just knock it around. And now, in fairness to United, we did try and go forward every opportunity we got, but we didn't do it kind of blindly. We didn't lump balls forward, and we were very controlled in how we moved the ball forward. And I thought it was absolutely fantastic to see. But look, getting into individual performances, I've got to start with Casemiro in the centre of midfield. Again, we were speaking in that maybe first 20 minutes. I don't think anyone really played well, bar maybe Garnacho. I don't think anyone really played well in that first 20 minutes. But all of a sudden, Casemiro comes to life. He's there for the goal. He was heavily involved in an awful lot of the defensive side of the game once we took the lead. And over the last few games, he's really shown his worth. And Ruben Amorim said it a few weeks ago that he learned how to get the best out of Casemiro, and he didn't really understand how to play him alongside Manuel Ugarte. And we're seeing a really good connection there. Again, look, some of the talk, and we mentioned it last night on the match reaction, was around, will we keep him in the summer? I still don't think we will. I don't think Jim Ratcliffe and the hierarchy at United will allow him to stay for one more year with the wages that he's on. Now again, that doesn't mean he will go, because you've got to get somebody to come in and match his wages. And is a player going to give up 350 grand a week? Probably not. So I think it's probably going to be Saudi Arabia or bust for Casemiro. Again, it's not my money. So if he does stay for another season, I still do think we should get somebody in that position and maybe learn off of Casemiro for 12 months. But he was fantastic. Bruno Fernandes. I mean, where would we be without Bruno Fernandes? Absolutely fantastic again last night. Ran the show. Started off in the number 10. Scored the penalty. And, that lovely third man run in behind for the second goal was absolutely fantastic. We would be absolutely in dire straits without Bruno Fernandes. 37 goal contributions this season in a Manchester United side that's been one of the worst in living memory. You put him into any team in the world and, he's absolutely excelling. He would get in to any team in the world. Real Madrid, Barcelona, PSG, Liverpool, Arsenal, he would get into any team. He's been absolutely fantastic. And the fact that he has dedicated the best years of his life, the best years of his career to Manchester United is credit to him. It's absolutely fantastic. Now, last but not least, we've got to talk about Harry Maguire. And again, a renaissance over the last 6 months or so since Ruben Amorim has come in. And it's the change of formation. It's the change of system. Harry Maguire playing centrally with two centre-backs beside him just gives him that comfort room and the ability to play the game the way he is best at playing it. We're not seeing long balls over his head anymore. We're seeing protection around him, and he's playing really well defensively. Now, offensively, the last two games has been absolutely fantastic. We know what he done against Lyon a couple of weeks ago. But last night, to end up on that right-hand side and again, look, he stayed up after a corner and found himself in possession. But, to jink and jive and leave a defender for dead and to put in such a lovely ball is credit to him. And I'm delighted for Maguire. I've always said he's been the utmost professional. I don't think he is, and I never did think he was the player to maybe bring us to a Premier League title or Champions League or whatever the case may be. But I've always said he's been the utmost professional, and I would never have an issue with Maguire being at Manchester United as long as he's not overly relied on, and he has got maybe an extension onto next year as well, so I'm happy for him as well. Points to note as well, guys. Garnacho, I thought, was very lively, especially in that first 20 minutes when we were looking for, a spark. He was getting on the ball. He won an awful lot of fouls. He was running at defenders. I thought he was good. Lenny Yoro, guys, is a breath of fresh air, an absolute breath of fresh air. What a signing he's been. Mazraoui again. I mean, more signings like that, please. Because we got him for 50 million and he was absolutely fantastic. He really, really was. And look, I'm over the moon. I really, really am. We've got 1 foot in the final, guys. Nothing is done yet. It really isn't. And look, I am going to the game next Thursday, so we will be doing a match day vlog for it. But again, I'm hoping for an uneventful game at Old Trafford because it means we're into a final. We know the importance of this Europa League and winning it is not to lift the trophy. It's really not. And now, while that is absolutely fantastic and that's what you want to be doing, that's not the reason why we want to win the Europa League long term. We want to get back into the Champions League. We want the revenue that it brings, and we want to attract the best players. Because it will mean that rebuild is sped up a little bit. Because we know how big that rebuild is. But guys, absolutely fantastic night last night. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Please do smash a like on the video, subscribe if you're new. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, do give us a 5-star review, hit that follow button for us. What an absolutely great night. And let's hope we've got 2 more of them in the Europa League between now and the end of the season. Thanks for listening, guys. I'll chat to you over the weekend. Have a good day. Good luck.